Good morning. We're prophets. Sunday of Four Prophets, May 16, 2020. We're prophets. I prayed America and Georgia, Atlanta, Arizona, Alabama in Sunday morning, 6 a.m. of May 16, 2020. See shooting, a praying Justin.
Today we're going to be discussing an officer-involved shooting that just occurred. So this began this morning at about 6:30 a.m. I just want to recap the entire story. But this morning at approximately 6:30 a.m., our officers from the South Precinct responded to a call of two people shot in the 1000 block of RAJ South Boulevard. When officers arrived, they discovered a female laying in the middle of the roadway, suffering from an apparent gunshot wound. She was rushed to the hospital where she was later pronounced deceased. We also had an adult male at that location that was found unresponsive on the sidewalk. He was pronounced deceased on the scene. We received information on the scene that this altercation occurred prior to these two individuals being shot over some type of altercation pertaining to a dog. We also received the description of the male, which is an adult white male wearing a red shirt and overalls. Further investigation led our investigators to an apartment in the 1000 block of 18th Street South. When officers arrived there, we notified our tactical operations precinct, which responded to the location to execute a search warrant for that suspect. Upon making entry, they were immediately met by gunfire, in which we had four officers that was injured. Four officers that were injured. Two were struck by gunfire, which their injuries appeared to be non-life-threatening at the time. They're expected to make a full recovery. We also had two additional officers that was grazed. They're expected to make a full recovery as well. Officers did return fire, striking the suspect, and the suspect injuries did prove to be fatal here on the scene. At this time, the investigation will be turned over to Alabama Bureau of Investigations.
This morning on the scene at Brother Bryan Park, there seemed to be a lot of concern that this guy, obviously he had just killed two people, but there seemed to be a lot of concern with people saying, officers, watch your back, watch out for pot shots, that kind of thing. What kind of information did y'all have on this guy's potential for further danger, mental state, etc.? What made him...
Well, at the time of the investigation, we had absolutely nothing. Our investigators worked hard and swiftly to identify witnesses and canvass the area and locate people that can give us a little bit more information and detail of what this suspect may be, which led us here to this location. So we didn't have any information at all pertaining to this suspect. This was a totally new case, which our detectives began to work this morning.
And what's the name of that building where it happened?
I don't have the name of it, but it's in the 1000 block of 18th Street.
Is it apartments?
I don't have the name of it.
But it's apartments?
Yes, it is apartments.
Mm-hmm. Anything y'all have been able to learn? I know it's new, but about the suspect.
At this time, it's very early on. We'll have more information forthcoming, but right now it's just a little bit too early on to know that information.
Been a violent weekend in Birmingham. Can you address that?
Well, our detectives and our investigators, officers are all patrolling. We're deploying additional resources in areas where that may present problems. We're following up on all leads for our investigations. The biggest thing is we're urging people, if you know something's going on, go ahead and call us before these things escalate. And if you know something pertaining to our investigations, please give us a call. You can call Crime Stoppers, 254-7777.
Are the injured officers South Precinct officers, SWAT officers?
Injured
both?
Officers are with our Tactical Operations Precinct. So that was SWAT. Yes,
were all four taken to the hospital?
Yes, all four were transported to the hospital.
And when officers executed that search warrant, was anyone else in the home?
At this time, I don't have that information. It's very fluid. It's very early on, so I just don't have that information right now.
And when was that search warrant executed? About what time?
I would say about... let me get back with you on that. I don't want to give you any false information, so let me get back with you on the time of that search warrant.
So can you just recap, just briefly, what happened this morning till the entry here at the apartment complex?
Okay, as a recap, we received a call this morning at about 6:30 a.m. on a call of two people shot at the Brother Bryan Park, located in the 1000 block of RAJ Boulevard. When officers arrived, we found two individuals. One adult female, was laying in the roadway suffering from an apparent gunshot wound, in which she later passed away at the hospital. We also found an adult male laying on the sidewalk, which he was pronounced deceased on the scene by Birmingham Fire and Rescue. Upon further investigation, which led us to this location here, we found the suspect. We executed a search warrant for that suspect, in which we encountered fire immediately upon making entry to this location. 4 of our officers were wounded, all non-life-threatening. The suspect was wounded fatally.
And this is all altercation over a dog you mentioned?
That's the altercation that occurred did stem from a dog. However, we don't know the actual reason for the murders this morning. But this individual was responsible for 2 murders that occurred here this morning.
Did you ever find the dog?
I don't have that information. I don't know.
Yeah.
How much longer do you guys expect to be out here with the perimeter taped off today?
Well, we want to make sure that we conduct a thorough investigation. So we're anticipating being here for a while. As I stated, Alabama State Bureau of Investigations will be taking the lead. So we want to allow them and support them as they come in and conduct a thorough investigation as well.